This is a review of the quite new Skywalk Cayenne 3 paraglider. It's rated at LTF2 ENC. A little bit about me. I'm a pilot-rated BHPA member in the UK with about 250 hours flying paragliders. I've been flying for about 6 years. Usually fly cross-country in the UK and overseas as much as I can, about twice a year if I'm lucky. I fly a little bit of acro as well, but only basic stuff at the moment. I've been flying a DHV-12 Skywalk Chile for just over 2 years, and am moving up a grade now to ENC. I haven't got great experience of flying ENC or LTF-2 gliders, so this is a Skywalk Cayenne 3 small. It has a weight range of 75 to 100 kilograms. I weigh 65 kilos naked, so I'll be flying it at about 80 kilograms today. For cross-country flying, I'll be loaded up a bit with electronics, water and some ballast, and I'll be flying at about 90 to 95 kilograms. The inflation of the glider caught me out at first. The tips seem to want to collapse a little bit, and it takes a little bit more ground handling than a 1-2. The takeoff of the glider was very straightforward. I was launching into quite easy coastal conditions, about 10-mile-an-hour wind, but it launched. One reason for having a look at the Cayenne 3 over a couple of other older ENC rated gliders is the aspect ratio of 6, compared to a lot of gliders that still have aspect ratios of about 5.5, which is comparable to the newest of the 1-2 class gliders. So I had a look at this glider, and getting it out of the bag, inflating it for the first time, was very impressed. It looked quite competition-esque to me, and I was impressed by what looked to be on opening the glider bag. I felt that there was plenty of space in there for a glider. Even if you had to rush your packing in poor conditions, you'd still fit it into the bag that comes. The leading edge cells are protected by a wrap strap that seems padded and quite wide. It's something that I hadn't seen before. The risers also come in their own neat little bag, which is something that I think all Skywalk gliders come with. And the large rucksack that they provide with the glider to carry a harness is plenty big enough for a lot of kit, including my pod harness that I fly with, instruments and helmet. The construction of the glider seems very good quality. The mylar cells at the front are all nice, and they seem to be lighter weight than a lot of gliders that I've seen. The cells themselves are quite narrow, as you can imagine, with 61 cells on the glider, certainly narrower than on a DHV-12 glider that I'm used to. All the stitching seems very nice, and the material is of good quality. It's Porsche Marine. The upper lines are all unsheathed, and again seem to be good quality. I guess you've got to be a little bit more respectful of them. As soon as I was airborne, I noticed that my risers felt further apart than usual. This isn't because I changed the harness settings, but the glider has a wingspan of about 1 meter more than the Chile for the same size, so your arms seem further apart when you're handling the brakes. This is again absolutely fine, and the glider has quite a high arch to it, so it feels quite nice above your head. It was quite easy to do nice big flat turns with the glider, and also to wind it in a little bit to do some tighter manoeuvres if you want to stay in the core of some tighter lift. As I got a little bit more confident with the glider, I went on to try some wing overs, and these again seemed easy. The glider had no tendency for a collapsing wing, and stayed nicely in the wing over, nicely loaded up, and swung through positively. I wasn't able to get a huge amount of height in the light lift conditions that I was flying in, but when I was a couple of 100 feet above the hill, I decided to put in some big ears and see how those went. I'm used to split A's on my previous glider, but the lightweight riser setup on this has all 3 A lines going off from one riser, which was absolutely fine. It is almost old-fashioned in its concept, whereas most gliders now have split A's. But yeah, it was quite easy to put the big ears in. I did notice at my light wing loading on the glider that they didn't come out though. I think for an ENC they're supposed to come out spontaneously, even though it should be delayed, or it could be delayed. I found that even after 10 seconds they hadn't come out, so a gentle pump on each side saw them come out. It was no problem really.
Okay, I'm all strapped in. Always put your helmet on for ground handling, even if it's benign conditions. So look, these narrow rises look quite strange, almost like a lightweight sort of glider setup. Brake handles a bit firmer than my old Skywalk. I quite like those, so we'll see how these go. Some pilots prefer a stiffer bar here. The Chili had a very sort of soft bar. This is fine. Interesting, you've got O-rings on all the lines except for the A's. Not sure why that is yet, but we'll have a look.
Got O-rings on one set of A's, but not the other.